Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Meet Zinnia.
You are being very polite to someone who is attempting to kill us.
Her wife, Saffron.
You know I'm wildly, madly in love with you.
And their best friend, Goldie.
Glad we didn't miss all the fun.
Swords in hand, they defend their city from the worst of humanity.
I am Lord Buxton Blue.
Equity Electric.
Herr Haig. Virgil Walcott. Vicious Swa.
Follow their adventures on the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society audio drama podcast. Available now at truestory.fm/swashbuckling.
What's up, most excellent friends?
It's Chrissy and Nathan from the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast.
It's a podcast where a filmmaker and a comedian
And their most excellent guests
adventure their way through the 80s movies we think we love
or might have missed
with our grown-up eyes to see how they hold up.
Join us for delightful discussion,
Rollicking recaps.
ratings, and deep-cut recommendations.
Plus, members get some extra fun chit-chat with the hosts after the show.
Download the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast today at truestory.fm.
Or find it wherever the finest podcasts are stored.
And do remember to keep the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast motto in mind.
Be excellent to each other and...
Party on.
Party on, dudes.
Oh, there you are. I was hoping you'd make it. Come in, sit down. Welcome to the Story Well. If you've found your way here, then here is where you belong. And joining us at the table is actress, singer, and now director, Shelly Trujillo.
Hi, Kyle. Hi, everybody.
I'm so glad you could come and do this. I'm so excited. You're one of my favorite people.
Thank you. I love working for you, and I like making your words come to life. That's one of my favorite things.
So that actually takes me to my sort of the question I wanted to start asking you is, you are an accomplished actress, recently have won an award for said acting, and now you're also branching out into directing. So when you're an actress, you kind of have to take what comes to you.
Yes.
Whatever is, the auditions and whatever people are putting out for. But now as a director, you get to have a little more choice. So what kind of stories are you now looking at as things that, like, I can put my stamp on this, I can do this, I can be a director for this kind of story?
I like to go outside of the norm, right? So if someone were to say to me, like, here, you're going to direct Anything Goes, a musical, I would be like, no, thank you. That's not me. Listen, I'm no Patti LuPone. I'm not here for that. But I like to go for things that I actually prefer to work with local folks, right? I like to work with you, with Ash, with, other folks that are here in the Valley that I can speak with and learn from and understand a little bit more what the intention is, why the piece came to life for the writer. And then it allows me to kind of put my stamp on it. But I much prefer straight plays, directing straight plays. And I just like things that are just very unique and very specific to my style of humor or my style of campiness or what have you. It's just kind of whatever calls to me, but it's a little more, because I'm not like a seasoned director yet.
Sure.
I like to be able to know that I can make the playwright proud. So having that playwright here or accessible to me, is a nice thing. So that's kind of how I do that.
So are you leaning more towards comedy? That's where because you are by nature a funny person. Like you want to go into that, or are you, because you know that world, you want to go into the more dramatic stuff, the sort of stray cat side of the fence?
I actually am leaning more towards that alternative stray cat kind of crazy, make you think kind of theater. Look, comedy is easy, like you said. Funny is funny, and I love funny, and I love helping people bring the funny out, but it's not challenging for me to do that.
Right.
It's challenging for me to put the funny aside and be like, okay, let's dig deep and figure out where does this come from and how do you want someone to bring that out and create a psychologically safe space for someone to do that. It's heavy, man, but to me, I feel like it's a gift. It's something that I feel really honored to be able to do and be like, all right, put it all down. You're going to just rip out your soul with me. We're going to put it back together and leave it on the stage. Let's do it. The soul sucker.
So then, have someone who has been directed numerous times. What are the things what are the things you've cherry picked along the way of like, oh, I'm going to use that. Oh, I'm going to use that. That are now sort of coming back to you as you're shifting your focus.
One of the greatest things, one of the best things I've learned was actually from Ron May, and being under his tutelage as an actor, right, and kind of getting on there and learning and being a part of his show. What I love, and this is what I encourage to do, is the first read, the first walkthrough, the first scene, whatever, the first day of rehearsal. He's just like, read it, do what feels natural. Let's see what your body wants to do. Let's see where you go with it. Because it helps from a director standpoint, it helps me understand what you're interpreting from the words on the page and how you're developing yourself as an actor and what that character looks like. So one of those things, it's like, okay, let's see what we're working with. And then if I have something very specific in mind, I'll be very direct about that. But I also don't want to ever stifle my creative team or stifle my actors or even myself. I want to give everyone an opportunity to bring what they do best to the table. Unless there's something that's like, look, love that, but you're still going to get murdered in this last scene and it's going to be gory. Don't worry, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. But, and then also I've learned from other directors, like BJ as an example. BJ is a very giving director. He gives you his emotion because he's also an actor's director, right? He knows what it's like to be on the other side of that. So the emotion and support that he gives you in that, and he really gives you that foundation to feel safe and to play and do whatever, I think is directly correlated as to why I won my very first Zony under him. I've been doing shows my whole life and I'm not a spring chicken. And well, I was there at 50, then 40, and I won my first Zony like this in 2024. It's crazy to me, but it is, BJ knows how to get the best out of his actors. So it's nice.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of those magical things. I mean, you've seen shows and you're like, oh, wow, they're working really hard. They're doing great. And you sort of get stuff. But then every once in a while, it's like everything, that's that Venn diagram thing or like even like a prism where everything overlaps. Ash had a great script. You had great co-stars. You had a great director and you were phenomenal in it. And it was just this beautiful little weird piece of art.
Crazy. It was so crazy. And BJ gave me the opportunity to also costume design. Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like
that's independent theater, man. We all got to pick up a hammer at some point.
He's like, we have no money, figure it out. I'm like, Goodwill, here we go. And I was like, I don't care what happens for the rest of us. I'm going to get Matt to look like Roger Ebert if it's the last thing I do. And I studied and I was like, we're done. We went through 2 weeks because that man sweats like a stuck pig. You ruined
I mean, Jonathan Groff spits. You know, it's just like we're all human, right?
People are moist.
Yeah, people are moist. Like fluids move. That's what they do.
That's what she said.
And on that note, let's pivot into some make-em-ups. So let's see if we can get a story together here. So, all right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll. I have a 6-sided die. I'm going to roll this to determine what kind of story we're going to do. Was it a television show or is it a play? Like, what is it going to be? So, let's see. And one of those is guest choice. Oh, and it is guest choice. Look at that. So we've rolled a 6. So choices I have on the list are book, TV, audio drama, film, or play. Any of those more appealing to you?
TV for $100.
TV show. Okay, nice. So we can be thinking much more long term, long storylines that can go over years. All right, then let's pick what our genres will be. All right, roll a big 20-sided die. First roll is a 10, which is an action/adventure. So it could be both. It could be either. So an action show. There's also a fantasy. Oh, interesting. So we're sort of into the realms of it could be like a Game of Thrones sort of thing, but more of action adventure, less drama, or it could be it's sort of an Alice in Wonderland-y thing, which I know we both have experience in. It could be a fantasy kind of thing of that. So you think of television show, fantasy, action adventure? Be thinking about that while I guess a plot here, just to get us moving in a direction. I'm using the Story Engine deck, available at storyenginedeck.com. Not a sponsor, but I would happily take their money because their stuff is amazing. All right. So what it has come up with for us in our fantasy adventure show, which we can choose to either use or change, is a radical wants to upstage a rival within a hospital, but they will have to endure something that repulses them.
Oh, this is rich.
Okay. All right. The wheels are turning. What's your first thought that comes to mind of what the show is?
Okay. I'm thinking it is like, have you ever seen The Resident?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like The Resident meets All My Children.
Okay.
But not General Hospital, because that's already been done. But it's a little bit different because there's more like technology and the sub stories with all the relationships. And then we can add all kinds of crazy things with new technology. Like, I don't know, MRIs aren't the same in the future in my fantasy today.
Okay. Are you thinking that this is set either in the just future or the past?
I think it's
or is it okay in the future? All right. We could have. Are you thinking that everything is taking place the same thing, or are you thinking like someone like from the past is now in the future, or someone has come back, or like a Buck Rogers, but Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, but like in modern technology?
Oh my God, Dr. Quinn, are you kidding me? Yeah. Dr. Quinn, and then she picks up House on the way. And so
right?
Okay. She's all about, let's heal from the earth. And he's like, give me my pill. I'm going to hit you with my cane. Why can't I see through her whole entire brain? What is going on? I can see her. Right?
That's interesting. What if you had it that you have our person, our main character has the ability to like contact the dead, or like the people from history or whatever, to like all of a sudden you can have Marie Curie show up to be like, can you help me with this radiation thing? I don't quite understand it. She's like, we were having technical difficulties. We were talking about Bluetooth.
Yeah. Hedy Lamarr.
And to have Hedy Lamarr, like the ghost of Hedy Lamarr, show up to like do tech support for your Bluetooth device.
Oh my God. Okay, that's brilliant.
But but from a medical perspective, to like actually talk to, to have some sort of element of, so getting into theme a little bit about like actually listening to the past rather than just blindly going into the future.
And you can't always trust. Oh my God, let me get my cane out because I sound like a grandma. You can't always trust technology. Sometimes you have to remember where it started, which is the human mind and the brain, and that experience. Everything leads you up into where you are today, right? Again, Hedy Lamarr.
Yeah.
Bluetooth technology, full war. Turns out, screws up my AirPods, but here we are, still available for us. Should we need it?
I like that. I like the rather than having it be, it's whatever the newest, coolest, most exciting thing is. It's sort of like, yes, but let's talk about what got us here.
Yeah.
But you also can have some fun with it too, because you can have, you can talk to somebody else from they're like, oh, but what are her humors like? And you're like, actually, it turns out that's not really a thing anymore.
Thank you for asking. So it's a great question.
Like, clearly the problem is too much blood. Get some leeches. Like, okay. I think we're done here.
Oh, okay. The leeches. This is very quantum leap right now, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I say, but having it as opposed to them traveling, to have them there, and then having sort of the metaphysical lens. So, I guess the question then comes up: do other people, forever our lead, do other people see the spirits as well, or is it something that's in their head, or is it they can only like the TV show Ghosts or whatever, they can only sort of whisper into their ear, like they can see them but no one else can, or is it we have this hospital just has a weird thing of in this room or in this area, it's like it's the walls of time are weak or whatever it is. Like that's the sort of the fantastical element as opposed to like a science fiction element. Like
I think that's it. I think that all the planes have converged, right? So there's all of these things have led into it, but like almost like a room, like something's going on where, someone's internal sewer system is backed up, right?
Yeah, right.
And the enemas are not working. Go into trauma room 2 and go see whoever that may be, and get your advice, right? It's got to be like compartmentalized. So I don't think, but what I would think is I don't think all of these past figures will ever intermingle.
Oh, okay. All right. I could see that. Yeah. That you have it, that it's just like sort of one at a time, almost like a guest star engine, essentially. Someone comes in and they're Freud.
Yeah.
But you don't have Freud and Jung there at the same time. Like it's just one at a time.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly.
So anybody who works at whatever this, Grey's Anatomy style hospital, whatever, this is just a feature of the hospital. Like it's not like connected to a person.
Correct. Not connected to a person.
Right. So it's something about this place.
I think it's the Westward Hospital, like the Westward Hub. The Westward Hospital is where all of these things take place. And there's going to be the lead, and then you have the romantic characters, and then you have all the angry people, and then you have just the funny, like comic reliefs in there. But they all are tied to something, and there's got to be something that's common with all of them. We just don't know what that is yet.
Okay. So is this going to be like a clinic, it's like to get to this place? This is the Mayo Clinic, a special way. Like you have to like go so far to get to this place to get to even know it exists there. It's just like, so they're all sort of keeping this secret.
Yes. This is like, if we can't fix you at the Westward Hospital, you're done. It's it.
Yeah.
You're over. Bam. This world is not for you. Move along. But this is where all of that, in my mind, this is where all of that magic happens. But this is where it all comes to pass, right?
Yeah.
Or you.
Yeah. Something's getting passed. That we know that.
Gas. You.
Okay. All right. So let's think about then we have a good setting. Let's talk about characters then. Like so. Who is it that's sort of coming in that's going to be our sort of point of view? Is this going to be an intern? Is this going to be a doctor who's given up hope? Is this going to be like a patient who comes there because the mysterious ailment that can't be cured and then decide to stay? Like, what are you feeling for? I mean, I think we're going to build an ensemble essentially, but who's
where's our starting point?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the starting point is going to be the specialist, right? Okay. Everyone's struggling because of one specialist, right? The nephrologist or the neurologist, whatever it may be. Ooh, neurology. Neurology makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So neurologist is we are all coming to see this neurologist, and that's where it kind of branches off into whatever we want it to be.
Okay. Yeah. Our thing says a radical wants to upstage a rival within a hospital. So we have some conflict there. So if we have someone who's into this, then we have to have a doubter.
Money.
Oh.
Your money guy, right? Your money guy. So I want to do all of these great things. And I know that we have all of these technology, all of this, boom, 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 and let's fix this problem. Yeah. Who's going to pay for it? Which insurance company is going to pay for it? Who's going to fund it? Because that's the rule of all of it is going to be money that's going to throttle you. And so we just have to make that somebody, whether it's the board, whether it's the president of the board, whether it's the hospital admin, whoever it may be.
I like the idea of like them always saying like, oh, I have to talk to the board. We'll have a like sort of our sleazy lawyer type, person. Like, I'll have to talk to the board. We never see the board. They just go into a room and there's a
yes.
That's one of the mysteries of the thing is who is the board, because I see this person as being that what we have here is a finite resource. We can't let people know about it. And also it's very expensive to to maintain this level of secrecy. So therefore, we have to have a rich clientele. And maybe our person coming in is being like, but we need to heal people. And
we need to profit off of that healing. Otherwise, how are we going to stay in business?
But the point we became doctors to help people, not just rich people, but all people. Like,
first, do no harm to my pocketbook. I feel you. To my pocketbook. Let me go talk to the board. About it. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah. So I think that we can already see some push-pull in terms of like, I want to go out to disenfranchised communities and stuff like, that we don't get money from that. Like, that's not going to help us. Yeah, the secret has to be kept. Yes. So I say that there's some nice push-pull there of someone coming in to be like, we need to share this with the world, and the people there being like, no, we don't.
The hell we do.
There's a reason the secrets are secret.
That's it.
Oh, okay. I like that. All right. So then I guess we have our typical sort of roles that you do in sort of a medical drama. Is the magic contained to just being able to talk to the people, or is there some sort of mystical Dumbledore, Gandalf sort of wizardy thing who's been there a really, really long time that's just staying alive?
Yes, that. Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
Absolutely.
Should this be someone from history, or should it be someone that it'd be interesting if we had someone from, like we were talking about the humors, someone from like that period of time where they just started thinking of like, hey, maybe you're not being punished by the gods. Maybe you have a disease. Someone from that time period that maybe got left out of the history books because, they weren't I don't even know that they weren't Aristotle, they were Plato. It was Jane, but like nobody remembers Jane because she wasn't Aristotle and she wasn't Plato, and the medical equivalent of those.
His name is Craig.
Yeah.
Craig Christ.
And has, been there all along doing the good work, but not getting any of the stuff for it. But
nobody knows, but his name is Craig Christ, and this is what he does. He brings the logic. He's not here to turn water into wine. He's here to logic the hell out of everyone. So nobody cares about Craig. But Craig's there.
But he's always been ahead of his time. And now time has passed him by. Just like, maybe there's a scientific reason for this. And so, I like the idea that it's like getting the answers is what keeps him going. Like he's never become complacent because he's always, even though he's ancient, he's still like, but we still don't know. Like he's like, I mean, I named him Cancer. Like, that was me. I came up with that because they look like little crabs. That was the guy that did that. But we still don't know why.
Yes. You could have called it shrimps. It's not. They look like cancer crabs. That's why
I did not have a lot of choices at the time. I looked at it. I was like, that's clearly a crab.
Clearly.
Oh, I like that. I always like the fact that he gets pushed because he's so into that side of it. He just gets pushed around by like under his watch. This has become this weird, Kellogg-esque resort spa community healing, place that people go to. But because he just lets everybody like, I don't worry about the money side of things. I mean, like I learned how to count on drachma. Like I don't know anything about pounds, dollars. I don't know. Like I let them worry about
the
that.
Abacus. Okay, I don't really care what you do. I got the abacus on my side.
That's right. That's right. And I also I still like the mystery of the board, that there's always been a board.
Yes. Yes.
No one ever sees them except for the one person who is like their representative, and they've changed. The name has changed, but there's always been the board.
There's always the board.
And there always will be the board long after the rest of you.
Spoken. The fear-mongering board.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The other. No one gets to go in that room for the deliberations. Decisions are just brought down, even on like clay tablets or something. They have to transfer them over.
Let me see the tablet. It's not what you think it is.
Yeah, hand me the tablet. Clunk.
Are you saying that it's like a Samsung tablet? No. It's literally a brick. Me is dead? No, it's just a brick. Like literally, it's just take it.
I want to see what they wrote. I want to see. It's like, do you know how to read cuneiform?
Do you speak Ladino? Because I don't know if you're going to get it.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. I like this. All right. So, how do they? You think they bring people in? Like, how do they get patients in beyond just, I'm an oil magnate. My son has a weird thing where he's vomiting frogs or whatever, and then so here's a bunch of money, fix him. How do you see other regular sort of cases coming to them without them sort of revealing the secret?
I think there's a referral process.
Okay.
Like think of it, instead of an HMO, you have a PPO, right?
Okay.
Like the PPO is the rich folks. Look, they can pick whoever they want to go to, whenever they want to go to. But you have to go through that whole farming process from an HMO where you don't really have a choice, but the system will guide you depending on what the issue is or whatever that is to open that door. It's not for everybody. Not everybody gets to go down that way.
Right.
But however those cards fall, it's how the normal Joe gets into the Westford Hospital.
Yeah. A specialist to a specialist to a specialist to a specialist to this weird mystical place. Do you see the diseases as also being magical, or is the one magical thing the hospital, and it's regular diseases they can't figure out? Or do you see like people actually coming in with like my arm is turned into a tentacle kind of thing?
Yeah, like suddenly I have 3 tails. That's why I'm wearing a long A-line dress, because I don't want people to know I have 3 tails.
Okay. All right. So there is some sort of mystical illnesses out there too.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, I have a headache. And then you're like, no, girl, you got a horn on the top of your head. And it's not like a Dr. Pimple Popper kind of thing. It's like you got a whole ass horn. Where'd it come from? And then you got to, because it's not always there. It sometimes appears. So then you have the mystery of like what it moves, like unicorn horn, and suddenly it's down at your occipital bone. Who knows?
Yeah. That's great. Because then you have the halls. You have people walking around in the full scrubs with a stethoscope, and then like someone in like full on just a robe that just trails behind them for like 10 feet, and it's glowing, and they just like passing in the hall, like exchanging over coffee.
And it's NBD. No big deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Men in Black thing, except there's like, there's also like a 4-headed goat who's like in the conference room, like, man, we have this reserved.
Who said you're gonna have this PowerPoint? Oh, okay, really? It's not. Sorry, I thought you were on the Mac. My bad.
Like I was making eye contact with the wrong head. I apologize. Oh man!
Which one are you looking at?
Right, the HR person for this. What must be the most patient person in the universe?
The HR person is like Confucius. It's not even. They're not even here to human resource anyone. They're just like, there's nothing a hot bath won't solve. And that's it.
I also like the idea of them coming out of the office and both of them were like, yeah, I think that really helped. And then like the notes of like what they got, like that's it. That's all you got. Like you each got one fortune. Like what? I felt hurt.
I really feel seen. And there's a 3 HR issue limit per day before it has to reset.
That's right, because all just like, that'd be great. Of the idea that only so much a day, they're literally fading. Like starts out like bright and shiny, and then literally fading by the end of the day. They're just like every other, like almost like a bad connection on a Zoom call. They're just like getting every other word, and then they're just completely drained, and then have to wait till the next day until it resets, and then
your credits refresh the next morning.
That's right. I love it. So it's like book early. If you have a session, book early.
Lodge your complaints early. Be prepared and really, really be very solid about what you're looking for from HR to do for you.
All right. So what does death look like in a place like this?
The cafeteria, smorgasbord, and smells. Nobody's really happy with what's going on. And so when someone goes to the cafeteria, not out to lunch, but when someone's going to the cafeteria, they're done.
Oh, okay. So that's their code, or is it like that they're still meat? How dark are we getting here?
This is not Sweeney Todd. We're not making meat pies out of people. No, it's the code. It's the code.
So they don't even have a real cafeteria. So someone's walking around going, people keep going to the cafeteria, but I can't find it. They're like, you don't want to go to the cafeteria.
Like the swimming pool on the roof. Yes, that's exactly. It could take a form as like another being. Like it could be. Death could just be the intern.
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden you turn around and they're just in the room with you. Oh, I didn't hear you come in. And you're like, yeah, I'm about 5 minutes early. I'm just going to wait over here.
You want to head down to the cafeteria? Or?
It's like, yeah. Oh, that's good. The orderly in black scrubs who shows up with the chair to take you to the cafeteria.
That is it. Bingo. There it is.
Just like in the room all of a sudden, just be like, I'll be right here.
Yeah. I'm just going to be here.
Incredibly calm and patient. Of just like, don't hurry.
No pressure.
Take your time.
When you're ready. Okay, you're ready. I know that you don't see it, but you're ready. So I think it's time.
You just hop up there.
Let's go get some chicken.
Be like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Sarah. Oh, I know. I've got you on my list.
Thank you for letting me know.
Okay, so then are you seeing this as a like house, like a issue of the week of you have like a major case that they're working on, or do you see this in like sort of Buffy style of like a story arc of like there's something going on over the course of the first season where things are learning and changing, or someone's exploring, or things are in motion, or is it sort of that Star Trek reset?
I think it's a little bit of both. So like when I think about like The Resident, or I think about House, there are the actual issues that's being solved. It resolves within that episode.
Sure, Monster of the Week.
However, there's always the intertwining of House and whoever his flavor is, or the other relationships that happen, the things that come in, that underlying story of the internal relationships, I think will be constant. But I think from this perspective, it's issue of the week, flavor of the day.
Okay. Do you see this as being a relationship kind of show? Like, is there love blooming amongst the things, or is it like we're here to do our job?
I think we're here to do our job. I think it's more of a one-upmanship, right? Who's trying to become the next wizard, right? Or who's trying to, like, it's all about that progression to get to A, understand what is going on, how we got here, and then B, how do you climb to the top of that ladder? All
right. Oh, so there is a competitive factor then to it. Yeah. There is
like I would say competitive versus love, because love is boring. I mean, but like you can only go so far in that, because underneath it with love, you're still competing for somebody's affection, right?
Yeah.
Let's just compete for the magic. Who's going to be the number one wizard? Who's going to be the one that unlocks the next level of magic? Who's going to level up?
Yeah. I guess trying to get to the point where you have your own specialty.
Yes.
And then you get your own little wing and your own little staff. Like that's the thing. So there's like and then I guess probably no one ever joins the board.
Nobody
the board
does.
is no one ever. So that's not where their aspirations go. And you're never going to run the place. But the idea is to carve out your own little section of it by getting really good at
expand it, right?
Yeah.
Get different branches, and then where does that expansion go, right? Because you've got the Westward Hospital. It is but then do you have the Westward Hospital East? Do you have the one that's
that's interesting. So so do you think that there are more places like this out there?
I do.
Okay.
I don't think it's been unlocked yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. So maybe we have someone who's also looking into like why here, why now, and then also seeing that the factors that cause this to happen have also happened in other places around the world, and maybe there are other ones who are doing something similar, and maybe they're not as kind as our people.
Yes, exactly. We're doing it for good. Right. Like that, to me, I feel like that's what we're doing is we're doing it for good. We're trying to understand, here's what we're doing. We're trying to solve this problem. We're trying to understand the whole spirituality of it, all of the things that go into it.
Right.
Then you can have another area of the world, country, whatever it may be, that's using it for evil.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then it uses it for maybe not necessarily the healing, but the testing and turning into like different kinds of beasties that no one's ever seen, and then arming like good versus evil.
Yeah. Or it's as to like trying to heal mind, body, and soul and get people back out to be. This is about control.
Yes.
It's about manipulation. It's about getting people under your thumb, as opposed to to make them dependent on you. So you have the sort of the dark side of the medical stuff too. Oh yeah, all right. It's like a rival.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And maybe it's not obvious, right? Because maybe the Eastward Hospital doesn't know that they're doing anything different. I think that's the problem, right? Is no one knows yet. No one knows what everybody else is doing, but this hospital number one can be like, no, what we're doing is the way. It is the only way. And then our hospital is saying, wait a minute, you're hurting people. Do you know that you're hurting? This is the only way. This is the mandate. And then it becomes that whole battle of good versus evil. But then you question, are you really doing it for good or are you really doing it for evil? Then it gets a little mushy because then you go back to like, what's the end goal? What is the end goal of what we're trying to do? Heal? Hurt?
Yeah.
Good. Which one? Like what's the end goal? If you're hurting, why is that the end goal? If you're there to build something that no longer has, you're taking the soul, but you're healing the body and you're numbing the mind, why? If you're healing all three, why?
Yeah.
You're only going to heal the soul and the body and see whatever else happens. Why?
So I could see we could have a character introduced as an idealist, as like a sort of a rival going through with best intentions, but then starts to like go astray in terms of, but with this amount of resources, with this level of stuff, this is beyond MRIs. This is into a whole new level. Think of the things we could do.
Yes.
Think of things how we could, if we make sort of start out as the wide-eyed idealist of just wanting to help people, and then slowly over the course of the season turn into this thing of like, but if we had so much more money, we could help so much more people. And then you have that.
Right. So if we had these cases that lean towards X, Y, and Z, think of the good we could do if we had the money, or if we had these cases, it would prove that we needed more money. The board would see the value of what we do.
And if more people were infected by whatever this thing was, then that's more patients that we would be able to treat, and then easier ways to find out how to treat them. I mean, it just makes sense.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. The slow sliding scale that we could have of from best intentions to all of a sudden now you get to the end, you're just like, oh no, I'm intentionally making them sick. Yeah. But that's because, the people who don't, and I just get sick, I will be able to help them down in the future. But, these people,
And if you really think about that, it's shitty, but it also gives way to opening a door for the good versus evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in that, what truly constitutes healing and for what, right? What truly constitutes value? Who puts that value? Who creates that value?
Yeah. And you get a question of like, who's worth saving? Are we like, it's like, sure, we could give that person, this treatment and stuff too, but they're 70. I mean, how much are they really going to contribute?
Right. And then
you get these technical questions.
Taking the emotion out. And then what happens then? Do you become a robot? Do you become what becomes of that? Or if there's another realm, right, that we're dealing with, does that realm have the same value system? And if not, then overarches what?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can have, you can really have it be that the board that they're getting stuff from makes these really random, odd decisions sometimes. Like sometimes it absolutely makes sense. And sometimes they're like, but why? Why this? Why now? Why him?
It's what the board wants. You have to trust the board. They know what's best for you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's sort of like from a completely outside perspective of someone looking over and manipulating all these things and going like, you just don't see the pieces. The board can see everything.
Right. They're not
the board sees the whole board. You're only seeing the pieces. Yes.
100%. There's no way for you to know. You are not knowledgeable, experienced enough to know what the collective board understands.
Yeah. I also like the idea of this, our new person coming in, and this hospital has basically worked to the same. It's weird and it's hard, but it still has always functioned the same way for a very long time. And now they're coming in as the disruptor of maybe we shouldn't be hoarding all these secrets. It's sort of like you get to Area 51 and go, maybe some of this stuff actually could be helpful out in the outside world,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then starting to, the Ted Lasso effect of like someone going in and going, hey, what are we doing here?
Right.
Asking those kind of questions.
Absolutely.
How do you make it even interesting to bring someone in as someone disillusioned by the system too? Like someone who's, like even as opposed to coming in as like a bright-eyed, cheery stuff of like they did 10 back-to-back shifts during COVID at one of the wards and saw like just a sheer amount of pain and suffering and stuff too. And we're like, I don't even know. And I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what I'm doing this for.
Right. Yes, absolutely. You got to add that level of like skepticism, cynicism,
exhaustion.
And just, purely exhausted. Be like, great. I'm so glad you guys think that. Have you seen? Okay. Let me know when you figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm ahead of the curve on this one. Like you guys don't understand how broken all of this is.
I tried to warn you. I told you. Well, let me grab the popcorn while I watch this burn, like that kind of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's really good because that gives us like that as our lead is nice because then we can see them like developing hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming in absolutely despondent.
Yeah.
But then over the course of it, like basically we get to see them. It's the opposite of Breaking Bad. Like you come in as just like ultimately cynical. All of this is broken. None of this is going to work. What's the point of any of it? And then over the course of it, coming to be like, oh, I forgot why I was doing this.
Yeah. Even better.
Yeah.
Because that character, again, bringing in levity to it, you really do, because you're like, shit, I've seen it all. But also to survive the human psyche, I think this would be a very human element. The human psyche of it is to compartmentalize. So you're going to put all these things in their places. So your magic means nothing to me because I've seen everything.
Yeah.
Your 3,000 limbs that fall off every week mean nothing. Let me know when it's done. Because they're so in self-protect mode that it is going to be painful if I trust you. I'm going to hurt really bad, even more than I already do, if I let you in and believe that there's any bit of hope from the mystical and mythical things that you're showing me, okay, prove it.
Yeah. Yeah. I could almost see it as each of these sort of the specialists or whatever we want to say, the sort of the doctors for other things are all just running their little fiefdoms.
Yes.
So they come in, it's just not like a smooth, well-functioning machine. Everyone has their own little areas, and everyone has the the feeling of not my problem.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Not my problem.
Exactly. It's like, that's not us. They just like basically people just keep moving from place to place.
Yeah.
Like, nope, that's not us.
Not my problem.
Did you say 7 limbs? No, sorry, that's not us. Move down the hall.
I'm at 3. I'm at
down the hall. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and having to go and come in and be like, yeah, this is exactly what I expected. Like, I don't know what you thought I would get from this, but guess there's magic and there's all stuff, but it's just as bureaucratic and ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. Like, okay, Santa Claus, really? I mean, you were just a capitalistic guy anyway. You were making something like it takes you're Ozzing it out. You're wizarding it out. You're taking away the crazy of like the magic. Sure, there is magic, but at the end of the day, y'all are still full of it the same way that we are.
Yeah. People are still going to people.
People still going to people. Greed still going to greed, right? Control still going to control. Power will still power. At whatever cost, right? And I do think our lead character gets inflicted with something. They become where they have to become a patient.
Yeah.
Knowing they have to navigate through all of it, knowing what they know, what they've seen, but then also the unknowing, the unknowable things that wizard guy, what are we going to call him? We got to call him a name.
Yeah. It's like, I see like a, you know, something Greek sounding like, you know, like the Mephistopheles or, you know, like something like something with a Cleves or whatever or something. Heracles, you know, like that kind of. Heracles. That kind of, you know, like, and it could be like you were saying, Doug, but like Doug, you know, everybody just calls him Doug, you know, whatever or whatever it is.
Gregerson.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually Craig Thontius, but like you're Craig. You're just Craig.
Hey, Craig, it's fine. Craig Thontius Christo.
Right. Right.
I'm Craig.
Oh, actually, from where I'm from, we didn't actually have last names. Like one name was enough. And most people didn't even live long enough to get a second name.
You right. I'm a progressive. You right.
Oh yeah, man. You could just have this just rotating thing of all these people who just come in as the specialty for whatever medical ailment is. Just the weirdest. Like coming down to be like even the sort of that like we know people, we're in the world of tech, we know people who are so deep into their specialties that when you bring them out to do something ordinary, it's almost like they're not even speaking the same language. Well,
you have developers that are just solving all of these problems. They're like, oh, I have a printer.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put this monitor in. What is
well,
this?
I could probably write you a program to do that. It's taking about 8 hours. So like, no, just
just plug it in.
Yeah. Maybe we have both. We have the idealist as the young student who the Hermione type, the brilliant person who came in and sees the dysfunction and brings in her mentor who is broken and just, hate all this kind of stuff as like, help me fix this.
Uh-huh.
Like something great could happen here, but help me fix this. And like having to also fix them because they don't see that it's worth their time, effort, whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
You have that push pull.
Open the eyes, because that again is another level of trust.
Right.
And if homie's broken because they've seen too much, they've seen too much stuff in Nam, they're not going to want to be open. Yeah. I mean, I may like you, but I don't trust you because I don't trust me.
Yeah.
Like I don't trust myself to not get involved and to not go too deep and then to get my hopes up.
Do you see this as being format-wise? Do you see this as being like unlimited? Like is this like a it'll go for 10 seasons and then until we're finally done telling all of our stories? Or do you see this as like 4 seasons and done?
No. This is an ongoing, because I mean, there's so much to bring to the table. And especially if you expand universes, right? If you expand it out to different locations and different hospitals, that is.
Yeah. So like this is Chicago Medical. We need, what's the mystical version of Chicago Fire?
Look, literally Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Law and Order SVU, Law and Order Criminal Intent.
Yeah.
Like, you have all of the Dick Wolf universes, but like nobody does it better than Dick Wolf. Like nobody does it better. You want to make a show on for 35 years? Mariska Hargitay? Like, yeah, she lives, right? Like,
yeah, build the world, and then you can tell your stories in it. I like that. All right. So then, have you given any thought to casting? Who would you see in any of the? We've sort of defined like 3 or 4 different people. We have our cynic, we have our idealist, we have our lawyer, board representative, we have our ancient doctor. Any faces coming to mind? Or
well, the cynic has to be Christopher Maloney.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
also a comedic dude. He's done the stuff with the state. Like he's got the chops.
I mean, he's got the chops, very diverse, because cynics are actually very funny. When you really want to land it, you got to be really funny. I think that would be ideal. It's the first thing. That's the first person I think of. I think for the lead, right, person, I think it has to be someone on the younger end of things. I see a woman or female identifying for sure. Why do I see Emma Roberts? That's terrible.
That's not terrible.
I regret my choice there, but not terrible, but like.
Well, I guess I was sort of thinking, yeah, somebody in that age range works too. I was thinking like an Emma Stone, but because the person, by the time they get to this point, they're sort of a specialist, so they could be in their 30s.
Yeah, Emma Stone. That's beautiful. Like something in that also has a very diverse personality and some quirk. You need that.
Yeah, exactly.
Quirk.
Right, exactly. Because to get to this place, like you're not going to be, Meredith Grey is not going to sort of thrive in this kind of environment. So you need somebody who's a little bit open to new ideas. Yeah, a little bit off.
Absolutely. Who else do we have? We have
our basically our comic relief character, our eldest doctor, our Craigacles or whatever we decided to. He does not have to be actually old.
No. Yeah, because
it's like you say, good man, woman. But yeah, I'm all for giving jobs to actors who have crossed the deadliest line in Hollywood, which is 60.
It's true. Actually, I switch. Okay, so I think for our cynic, I leave Schreiber.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like that.
Like, dude, so versatile.
Yeah, I could see him as like, I mean, you could easily have him saying like, yeah, the board disagrees with your thing. I mean, just that flat, like there's no negotiation. It's just like, this is how it is.
Yeah. I see him because again, he can be very terrifying too, because stature wise, he's a big dude and he's got that big grovelly voice and, he's just kind of got that real like dead ass look on his face. You don't know what you're reading. And the board doesn't like that. And it's that slow whisper that he gets sometimes.
Yeah.
Is that really what you want to do?
There is no negotiation like this.
Yeah.
The decision has been made.
Yeah. Is there anything I can do? The decision has been made.
Yeah.
Can I come in? Do you think you can come in?
Are you telling me you want to address the board directly?
Do you know what you're asking for? Oh, okay.
Do you know what happened to the last person that did that? Because I don't.
Godspeed.
Though I don't think he's in that room. For our comic relief, our oldest doctor ever, the first doctor.
John Leguizamo.
Oh, John Leguizamo. That's really good. Oh, that's really good. to be like, oh man, you could have a whole thing about like people think that it's started in Greece. No, man, we were doing that back. Like this is before they even called it Brazil. We were down there doing this stuff. Like,
don't you know about Panama? We've been so progressive this whole time. Yeah, okay.
Our civilization had gone to the end and was gone before the Greeks even put on the first toga. Like, come on.
You don't even know. You ever have any mofongolos, dude? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, don't like with that.
Okay, well then we come to, unfortunately, the most difficult question of the entire time here of the story. Well, is what do we call it? What is the title of the show?
The title.
Because like Westward Hospital or whatever, it just doesn't have quite that same ring to it. It's got to have some sort of mystical sounding thing, but it also has to have that procedural thing because it can't be like Magic Hospital because
no.
Or Saint whatever. It's because like this predates the Saints.
What event happened in Rome, Greece, AD, BC? What Latin event, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not the Parthenon, right? But sure. What did that represent? Or what eternal flame, eternal fire, or something?
Yeah, the pursuit of knowledge.
The Holy Grail.
To conquer death. Ex mortis, like to get like a Latin.
Like a fountain of youth, but not a fountain of youth.
Yeah, the Deus Ex Machina.
Listen, when no one knows what to do and it doesn't fit into anything, improvers in particular are like, Ex Machina? No.
Doctors Ex Machina?
Yeah. Machina. It almost sounds like Mackinac. You don't want that either.
Oh yeah, it's Saint Mackinaw's, but it's actually Deus Ex Machina.
I'm going over to Saint Mackinaw's.
But find out what the let's see, the oldest story is the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's like 6,000 years old. They found like the first ever like fictional story. I mean, and was it fiction? Who knows? But like Saint Gilgamesh or something, or like Gilgamesh's, or like having something like that has a real old timey sort of feel to it.
I'm thinking of like Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to go through my stories.
Because like Zeus conquered the Titans, but like I feel like Titans has been used.
Yes.
It's way too much.
Has Sentinels been used too much?
Something like the mystical gardens of healing, like something in there might be good. Like what was the places like Pangea? There's a word that's used a lot.
Pangea, Pandora.
Yeah, something in the Fountain of Youth, sort of.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. It's something referring
water of life, kind of.
Yes, exactly.
The healing waters of something, or visit the healing waters, or that could be like, what's the slogan of this hospital? That could be what it is. Yeah. To cheat death.
Heal thyself.
Heal thyself. Oh, that's pretty good.
Heal thyself.
Yeah. Oh yes, because it's it's about doctors getting themselves back up running too, in addition to healing other people. Oh yeah, that's it. Shelly, you nailed it.
Heal thyself.
Heal thyself. All right, I love it.
A journey.
A mystical hospital where. When all medical science has failed you.
Heal thyself.
Heal thyself.
Do you know? Have you hit a dead end? The end of the road. Come, heal thyself.
Yeah, come to the healing waters and heal thyself.
And heal thyself.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, I like it. All right. We're gonna put a cap on that. All right, that's brilliant. Okay, so audience, dear listener, I hope you have enjoyed your time here in the mystical healing waters, because the story is now yours. We are giving it away. This everything we've come up with here is now yours to do with whatever you want with. We're releasing it under Creative Commons Attribution. It is now public domain. go crazy. I would, if you're inspired by any of this stuff, take it, write it, run with it, make a movie of it, make a television show of it, make a podcast of it. Like, I'd like to see some art. Like, show me what you think these characters look like, write me the theme song of what it is. All we ask is that you link it back to us so we can see what you've come up with.
Oh my God. Craigathan. If someone can please write a Craigathan.
Yes.
Theseus.
Yes. Craig Theseus. Oh, I know what he looks like, or she, for that too.
I mean, we don't know what they look like. It could be a combo. We never know. I want a theme song.
Right. Let's hear it. Let's hear I'm feeling like a harpsichordy version of like the Doogie Howser theme, like da, 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 da. Like on strings. Get Vitamin String Quartet to do the Doogie Howser theme. Love it.
I'm gonna get a recorder. It's fine. It's fine.
So Shelly, thank you for coming along and making up some stories with us. I love it.
Yeah, this is a trip. I'll come back anytime you have me.
Oh, fantastic! You always have a seat at the table. Well, the stories won't write themselves, so back into the world we must go. Thank you for stopping by. If you're in this part of the world again, there will always be a place for you here at the Storywell. Now, go tell your story. This is Kyle from TrueStory.fm. I'm going to tell you two things about myself. One, I love making podcasts. And two, I hate commercials. And yet, here I am caught between those two opposing forces. I'm sure you've noticed, but the world is getting more expensive. And that goes for the nuts and bolts of making podcasts, too. Equipment, server fees, website hosting, it's costing more and more to do the thing I love. Which brings me to you. By becoming a member, you can help us keep making cool stuff. $5 a month gets you access to your own private feed full of early access, ad-free shows, plus exclusive stuff just for our insiders. That's less than the cost of a Happy Meal at McDonald's. Plus, no commercials. I don't want to be saying this any more than you want to be hearing it, so a quick way to shut me up would be to clickety-clack those keys over to truestory.fm/join and find out how you can help us out. Now, go do something nice for yourself.